going to be like going to business school in 10 minutes. You're going to get some skills by the end of this video, whether you like it or not. This is called speed learning. Every 30 seconds, we have a beeper go off. There's a timer. So I have to go through every subject. We got over 60 subjects here, and I've got to pack them all into 30 seconds. And the first subject is confidence. Confidence is very, very important. It's what makes you drive the car. All right, you need no fear. You need to get that out of your head. There's a lot of exercises. I recommend watching The Wolf. Type in confidence wolf into YouTube and get going with that first. Exercise yourself, exercise your brain, and a lot of the skills in this video will give you a lot of those confidence boosters themselves. Thank you. The beeper hasn't gone off yet, but when it comes to confidence, of course, it's very, very important. All right, next up, we want to talk about projection. All right? Now, projection has to do with you imagining yourself 3 months from now, 6 months from now, or 3 years from now. And then that feeling where you'd be like, damn, why didn't I do that 3 years ago? You want to put yourself into a time machine and then look back. All right, so that's projection. Where you're going to be 3 months from now, or 6 months from now, or a year from now. And then it's going to give you this very, very big drive and confidence and all of that. Next up, we want to talk about memory. It's very important to have a very good memory. All right? Memory is basically going to encompass everything having to do with all of the skill sets that you're going to be learning in this video. All right? So again, you can look up on YouTube, again, do some memory exercises, get your memory good. And part of memory is creating inside your head, creating all sorts of avatars for certain people that you meet. Like, oh, that's the so-and-so guy. All right, next up, we want to talk about speech. If you're not good at speaking, you need to learn how to speak. Sometimes things can affect that. For instance, public speaking is a whole other animal, right? You have to discipline yourself and learn the way that you're speaking and watch the ums and you know what I'm saying. I have a big problem with that and would save a heck of a lot of video editing time if I could get that together. As we can see here, I'm trying very, very hard to speak clearly so that you don't get annoyed with me. And that's very, very important. So, work on your speech. Learn how to talk. Also, planning. Let's get into some serious planning skills. You ever write a to-do list before? Well, you should write a to-do list for your daily activities, your weekly activities, and your monthly activities, and your yearly activities, and your decade activities. Plan. Plan ahead. And make sure that, you know what? Buy a bunch of Post-its. And then have text edit plans too. The Post-its are kind of like for your daily and weekly. And then the long-term stuff, you're going to want to do that with a Microsoft Word document because there's going to be a lot of shit in that. All right, so next up, we're going to talk about empathy and psychology. You have to learn about what people that you're dealing with are thinking. And then you need to feel for them. You need to make sure that they're going to like working with you. They can get very passive-aggressive with you if you do not know how to nurture the situation. If you're hiring, or if you're selling, or if you are hired, or whatever the case may be, you're going to want to learn their body language. You're going to want to learn types of signals that they're giving you. Next up, political philosophy. Also, this is very important because you're going to have to learn the law, okay? Politics, of course, center around people who are in charge of the law, and people who make laws. And so it's very, very important for you to know what the hell you're doing when it comes to politicals, okay? There's different political philosophies, and of course, I like to put them into 4 quadrants. That is authoritarian, right and left, and libertarian, right and left. All right, so next up, statistics. This is very, very important. You can devastate any argument with statistics, as we know. You should get caught up with your statistics when it comes to business. You should also know in terms of your markets and niches and people and the amount of people in the population versus the conversion rates and all that. Statistics really help out with all of that, okay? So if you want to make big money online, definitely learn how many people there are in the world, how many people there are in the United States, how many people are in English-speaking countries, and then learn how many people buy this. Sales. Of course, this is one of the biggest. You have to learn sales, all right? Sales can also be summed up in the attention, interest, desire, action philosophy. We'll get into it in a little bit when it comes to copywriting. Sales is very, very important. It's a skill set that I've been able to acquire through many years of telemarketing and door-to-door sales and all that. If you have never worked a sales job or a commission job, I definitely would advise you to get into that so you can learn that skill set. Thank you. All right, so next up, appearance. Make sure that you are conscious about your appearance. Make sure that you do your best. All right. No one wants to look at someone who has zero care about how they look. You were born the way God made you, and that's fine, but you know what? You should try to be conscious of that. Your clothing, your makeup, those are skill sets that are very, very important for you to acquire. All right, thank you. In terms of appearance, sometimes I don't look the best. I want to get something done. All right, so next up, innovation. This is very important for any business person, okay? You're going to look at your market, you're going to look at your competitors, and then you're going to do things a little bit differently than them. I'm not saying entirely reinvent the wheel, but I'm saying that innovation should be very important, and it should be a skill set that you acquire. For instance, everything that I've done that was successful had to do with me innovating and reinventing the wheel just a little bit, but not so much that it was just totally off base. For instance, using what's going on around you already as the foundation and then building a roof. That is the innovation. That is very good advice. Next up, we want to talk about set design, all right? If you're recording a video or if you're performing, what does your set look like, and are all your props set up? this again is an algebraic solution for something that you don't quite have the answers. Well, you have the answers, but you don't have vice versa. You don't have what it takes to get your result. And so therefore, you know your result you want, so you're going to have to get everything in place for the time that you do your set. For instance, when we did this set, I put this laptop here and put on a red shirt, and that was my set. Thank you. Next up, deadline discipline. This is very, very important. You have to say to yourself and be able to estimate how much time it's going to take you to do a project. For instance, if you're going to do a video sales letter, and you also need to do another video sales letter, but you know that you only have a window of opportunity to do the first one, and then but you need to do the second one, you need to do both of them. So you're going to then have to allocate enough time, you're going to have to prioritize, and you're going to have to say, no, I can't do a party that night, and I can't do this that next night because I'm going to be doing that. Investigation and research. All right. Now, when you're investigating and you're researching, again, this is all about business, you are going to want to listen and look. All right. You're going to use your ears and your eyes. You're not really coming up with judgments, you're not talking, you're not interrupting, you're listening and you're taking notes. You also have specific challenges that, you know what, there's a lot of really cool investigational tools. Next up, event planning, all right? Event planning has to do with if you're going to be planning an event, obviously. Now, there's certain things that are events that you might not think were events, like a launch is considered an event, or a webinar is considered an event, or an interview is considered an event. You're going to want to plan these things and prepare properly. Always prepare for when you're going to be on the silver screen or when you're going to be performing live. So make sure that you properly know how to have, All right, next up, logging. You're going to want to learn how to log, okay? What logging is when you see something, a result from a split test, or if you understand something that is going to change the entire perspective of what you're doing, you jot it down. You're going to want to jot it down with the time that this thing occurred, or the result that you got, or the difference in the video that had brought up this result in your split test, all right? So it's very, very important to learn how to log these things down, keep a log. Thank you. Minimization, all right? What this means is you're going to want to lowest common denominator type thinking, okay? Now, not always, of course, you need to be complex, but you want to make sure that you minimalize what you're doing or the workflow or the output that you're doing. Your job, of course, if you're the boss, you're the big bad boss, you need to have the brains, you're the CEO, well, you're going to minimalize all of the workflow and the output that you are required to do. Of course, there's so many hours in a day. Thank you. Next up, algebraic creation. This is very, very important. What this means is you have a goal. Now you're going to have to be creative. You don't have the answers yet on how to achieve this goal. All right? If you remember, you might have x plus 7 equals 11. You kind of know what x is. It would be 4. All right? That's the same type of thinking. So you create that x. And so, of course, a lot of the time you have the goal, etc. Next up, sociology. This comes into market research, all of that, which we're going to be getting into in a couple seconds. All right? Of course, you want to be able to understand the differences in people and what makes someone, for instance, I have a very upsetting customer, and we did a background check on her. She was very abusive. We found out that she was a prostitute and had been arrested for prostitution 7 or 8 times, and that's probably why she's such a pain in the ass. So this is, all right, next up, we're going to jump into niche research. This is, of course, something that everybody asks me about. Niche research has to do with different groups of buyers, okay? People who are buying things and people who are interested in something. For instance, my Beats 365 customers were usually rappers and R&B singers. That's just how it is. Also, of course, people who are looking to buy dog training products, of course, they probably have a dog, okay? So, niche research. Markets. Now, when I talk about markets, I'm talking about, like, for instance, the stock market or the cryptocurrency market, etc. You need to know the differences between your markets. I was talking with someone recently who did not know what a Forex market was. Now, this is very, very upsetting to me because, of course, I've taught a lot of things, and it came down on me that I had not ever explained this to this poor person. It's the most easy to understand market there is. It's currency. It's a currency market. All right, so anyway. Next up, we're going to talk about traffic sources. Okay, this is something that people ask me as well. All right, you basically have social media traffic sources. You have pay-per-click traffic sources. You have email traffic sources, for instance, cross-promos and joint ventures with other people in your niche. You also have your own social media accounts. And the way I can explain this very quickly is a train. You've got your locomotive, which is the pay-per-click and all of that. Then you've got your second part, which is the social media accounts. And then you've got your caboose, which is the website. Thank you. All right, so next up, marketing research. Okay, this is very, very important because, of course, all this stuff that we've been talking about, sociology and niches and groups of people and populations and all of that, this is the umbrella term for all of that, okay? Once you've figured out that you want to work from home and make $100,000 a month, one of the first things you're going to have to do is start to do market research. This comes before creating... Hi, cannot even freaking read that backwards. All right, hey, hello, how are you? This is Arbitrage, okay? This is your Arbitrage lesson. What Arbitrage means is you're pretty much the middleman. And so you're like, you know, the master guy, and you've got this guy, and you've got this guy, and you're going to pay this guy money, and you're going to make money from this guy, and he doesn't even know that he's sending his traffic through your website, and then boom, 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 and it's like that, and you don't really do anything. It's like that. There's other types of arbitrage. All right, so anyway, next up, we're going to talk a little bit about business model creation. All right, business model creation is freaking exciting. I love everything when it comes to creative stuff. I love being creative. Now, have you ever sat down and been like, you know what? I came up with this idea where, you know, people are hungry at home. They don't want to leave their house. And they also don't want to use Uber Eats because there's not enough restaurants on there. So I'm going to create some type of thing that's cost effective and I can have total control over it. It's going to drop sandwiches on their house. All right, so funnel design. All right, funnel design is very, very important. For instance, you know what? You're selling something for 10 bucks. Sorry, you need a funnel, okay? You need an upsell for 100 bucks. You need a $500 consultation upsell. You need $800 upsell in there or something. Then you need an exit script so that when your visitors leave the page, you got a little discount for $5. And you're collecting like 25% more traffic, etc. It's very important. I'm very good at funnels, thank you, as you know. All right, next up, graphic design. This is another awesome thing to learn. This is something that you need as a skill. Photoshop, for instance. But did you know that if you don't have the money for Photoshop, you can type in free Photoshop into Google, and there's a ton of little cool Flash apps that you can do some graphic design. I'm so good with freaking graphic design that you could give me a picture of somebody and a picture of somebody else, and I'd make what their baby would look like in like 5 minutes. It's amazing. So get that skill under your belt. I'd be happy to show you if you'd like to know more about that. Make your own banners. All right, so file management. This is very, very important. Did you know the hardest part about doing videos when I have a video project is importing the files? Be organized. Did you know also that alphabetical order is very, very important? You know, you can name files with knowing where it'll show up. If you have everything alphabetical order, put an exclamation point at the top to come up first. You know what I mean? A, B, C, D, 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3. You're going to have more than 100, you got a 0, 0, 1. Did you know that? Or things are going to get out of order. File management. It's good. All right, so anyway, next we're going to go into product module creation. This has to do with your product. You know how to put together a module so that your customers are happy and they're not like, I bought this product and it's just a mess. So you have to be able to organize your product modules, okay? Modules means it, each part, each chapter. Write an ebook, your table of contents sends up your chapters, and that's what people would see on Kindle. So it's very important to know how to create product modules. I'll show you that as well, thank you. Yeah, I mean, products are freaking awesome. You know, the timer didn't go off yet, so, all right. So anyway, next up, software solution creation and outsourcing, all right? The way to create software is start to draw what the heck this thing is going to do. I don't know if you use PowerPoint, use slides, or whatever. So draw out your idea, do lots of diagrams and cool things and features, and think it up. Think it up first, then you go to a programmer, all right, and you show him your little video and you point to the little drawings and stuff like that. It's a solution, it's going to help people. You don't need to do programming or know how to do that. But you get the elements together. If it's a game, you're going to want to do the drawing. All right, so next up, creative drawing. Do you know how to draw? Well, you should learn because, as we were just explaining, part of creating software is knowing how to draw, knowing how to be creative. Again, you gotta be creative, all right? You wanna be a big dog, you gotta be creative. Creative drawing is just basically knowing how to freaking draw. So it's just kind of something you can learn anywhere, you know, on YouTube. Look up how to draw, etc. It's good stuff. Timer didn't go off yet, but I'm excited to get to the next one. Entertainment, all right? Learn how to entertain, learn how to make people laugh, learn how to keep people glued, learn how to do entertainment, all right? Do you know how to entertain? Well, I'm not talking about like dress up and make a fool of yourself or something, although I've done that and it's fine. People do, you know, just don't do it every day because of course you want to switch it up. And then, you know, your people who are with you for entertainment purposes, they're on Monday. The people who are interested in learning stuff from you, they're on Tuesday. Goes on like that, very, very important. All right, next up, copywriting. This is something that is very, very important whether you're doing a video sales letter, a webinar, swipes for your follow-ups and your autoresponder, or you're just straight up looking to do a menu for someone's restaurant, right? Copywriting, you can think of it like this. In chronological order, it goes attention, interest, desire, action, usually. And within those things, if the niche is bigger, if it's a lot of population, like weight loss or BizOp or something like that, it's probably going to be longer because there's a lot of competition. Next up, metaphor creation. This is very, very important because, you know what, you're teaching something that's really complicated, you're going to want to like simplify it and come up with something. One of the good examples is like that I did last night in the video sales letter. It was like, you know what, a business is kind of like an engine. You know, your website is like an engine and you're going to need a car battery. You know, if you don't have the car battery, you can't start the engine. That's kind of like a metaphor. You know, you just gotta be able to create those types of things on the fly. You know what I mean? Like, hey, this video is like a game show. Anyway, article writing, all right? Article writing, you can think journalism. You can think reporting, all right? Something happened, you know how to write about it? That's pretty much what article writing is. If you've never taken a journalism course before, why don't you try to do your own journalism? Why don't you walk out the door and see something that happened and then do a little journal about it? Now everyone can be their own reporter. Everyone can do their own journalism because we've got YouTube, we've got Facebook, you know? So you create your own media, you know? Great stuff, all right? So, right, learn how to do an article. Thank you. Speech writing, all right? This is very, very important. Like, for instance, if you're in a leadership position or if you have ambitions or aspirations to maybe be in a political position. So it's great to be able to learn how to do a speech. It's a different format than a lot of the other types of writing we're going to be talking about doing. It's very, very important to influence. You're also going to want to do some speeches on YouTube to gain followers. People really love confident people in authority positions. Instructional writing, all right? Instructional writing is like writing an ebook, instructing people or giving people information and teaching. If you're interested in teaching and if you have knowledge that other people are hungry for and you're seeing a lot of intellectually malnourished people and you want to help them, then you might want to learn how to do instructional writing. Writing is always the basics, it's the basics and the skeleton of any audio-visual stuff that you do, okay? If you're going to do things from the fly like this in this video, then you might want to do an outline. I did an outline here. All right, thank you. Next up, we're going to be talking about outline-orientated writing. That's exactly what I was starting to get into, okay? If you're going to be doing a video like this, you might at least want to do an outline. That's going to guide you. As you can see here, I'm able to elaborate on all of these different points, okay? It's very, very important. So, learn how to do an outline, all right? If you press for time, do an outline, all right? It's a little bit of a happy medium between just totally improvising and making a fool of yourself and being way too overcomplicated. Thank you. Creative purchasing. What this means is, hey, you're going to do a skit, you're going to do a video, you're going to go to Amazon and get some props, right? You're going to get some props, you're going to get some makeup, you're going to get some costumes. Learn how to buy things all at once for whatever project you're doing. You got to do some crafts, you're going to make your own costumes or something. You might have to. They might not exist. So you're going to have to learn how to be creative and buy things. Sometimes it's not even, you're buying something that wasn't even created or made for what you're doing. Next up, let's talk a little bit about HTML. I thought this was very, very hard to do, but there is a design view mode, all right, in whatever HTML editor you're using. What design view mode means is it's basically the Jamie Lewis way of doing things, where you just kind of drop things onto your HTML page. Now you can click on a source code, and it just looks like this. Just, I don't know what the hell's going on in there. I know a couple little things like meta tags, and I know there's this one little code I have. Anyway, PHP. This is the other type of programming where it's kind of like, you know what? The page is a little bit more intelligent than the HTML page. Like, things change. Like, you click on a button and something happens. It's really cool. I don't understand it at all. I always hire a PHP coder to do certain things like that. But again, the CEO or the boss doesn't know every little freaking thing. Doesn't do all of that himself. It's impossible to do all of these things I'm explaining yourself. But you should know a little bit about all of them. All right. So PHP is kind of like the smart coding. Next up, formatting. You're going to want to learn how to format. You're going to have to learn different formats. Okay. It's a little different than platforms. Formats is like, you know what? I'm doing a video sales letter in this niche. That's a different format than a video sales letter in that niche, okay? Well, we're doing a webinar in that niche. That's a different format than a webinar in that niche, okay? So you're going to always want to learn the differences in your formats. If you need any other information on that, I can go into it a little bit more, Anyway, next up, PowerPoint. This is kind of like what we're using right now, except we're using something called Keynote. That's like the Mac version of PowerPoint, I guess. But, it's kind of like how to present stuff. And also, we call the video sales letter style with the letters and the text, we call that the PowerPoint style, which is the best way to explain that. I mean, how else are you going to explain it? But anyway, PowerPoint is probably what you heard if you work in a corporate job. You present something, you got a PowerPoint presentation. You got diagrams, you got text, you got to go to the next slide. You got slides. All right, next up, we got photography. All right, you a photographer? Learn how to be a photographer. I do some really freaking amazing photos. A lot of them I can't show in public, but they are very, very freaking good. And as you can tell, you've probably seen some not to toot my own horn or anything, but the creative stuff, learn how to take some really good photos. Lighting is very important. I'm glad that in this 30 seconds I was able to come up with the most important things when it comes to your photography, and that's a different lighting. Don't really think about what the camera can do, all the buttons, lighting. Videography, all right? Videography is gigantic. You can go to college for 20 years and learn how to do videography. But a couple of the things that I recently learned in my life was green screen stuff, and I guess that was 2 years ago or something. 4 years ago I learned green screen stuff. But other than that, again, lighting's very important. You're going to want to learn, that it's very nuanced. You might have too much lighting, you might have not enough lighting, etc. And of course, cameras. Get an EOS, like a Canon EOS, like a DSLR type camera. Thank you. Next up, we got acting. You got to be an actor sometimes. You got to learn how to take on different personalities. You know what I mean? I don't mean be schizophrenic or something, but you know what I mean? If you're going to be in a certain mode, get into certain modes. Like if you're on a sales call, you're in a sales mode. If you're in a customer service mode, you're in a customer service mode. All right? I have two different types of webinars. I got sales webinars and customer service webinars, so I'm not in sales mode if I go into customer service webinar. Next up, sense of humor. Have a good sense of humor, all right? Because if you don't, you're just a drip, all right? If you're a front man and you're getting into videos and stuff like that, you're going to want a sense of humor to make people laugh, but you also are going to want to laugh at other people's jokes. If you're going to a big business dinner or something, you don't laugh at the guy's jokes, and your competitor does laugh at his jokes, you might lose the account. Give a sense of humor. Thank you. Next up, the beeper didn't go, but I mean, everyone knows I got a sense of humor, so we're gonna go into this. Video editing, very important. I use Final Cut Pro. I use a really old version. Everyone asks me why I don't upgrade it. I'm scared to death to do that and have to learn it all over again. I don't have the time for that. So yeah, it's like that. But of course, you know what they use in Hollywood? They use Avid. So you might want to get into that. Avid also works with Pro Tools for audio and stuff. It's really cool. Really, that's top of the line stuff. Really great. It's like just amazing using it. But I use Final Cut Pro and also iMovie. If you are just getting into it, iMovie, very easy. Next up, audio engineering. It's a little bit different than playing instruments and performing on stage and stuff like that. Audio engineering has to do with, you getting a good signal into your audio, and then what type of compressors, limiters, stuff like that, reverb, EQ, recording is like the job that the guy who records the rapper in the booth has. He's like the guy like with the board, and mixes and stuff like that. And it's something that you should know how to do. You're going to record a voiceover. You need audio engineering. You don't need that. Next up, audio music production. This is the next side of it, which is, play instruments. Do your own types of musical stuff. It save you a lot of money, and when it comes to stock music, I do most like 90% of my own music, unless I'm in a rush and buy stock music, but it's like probably like 10% of the time. Do all my own music for everything. Like, saves you a lot of money, but you gotta get the skill, so it doesn't take you a lot of time. It takes me like 5 minutes to do like an orchestra. All right, so anyway, sound design. This is when you create your own sounds, all right? Like if you want to create a thunder sound or something, you might want to run outside with a mini disc recorder, or nowadays, I'm thinking 1999, geez, you got to run out with an iPhone and record a thunder, you know what I mean? Sound design. You might want to take different elements and create your own types of sounds. Like if you're doing a horror movie or you've got some type of horror thing, you can create some scary ass sounds. You might want to take a piano or something, or pots and pans, and create some drums out of some pots and pans. Anyway, post-production, this is after you're done with everything. You want to make sure that the whole thing is freaking mastered, all right? Another word for this is mastering. Okay, you might have heard that. So once you've recorded your audio or your video or whatever, you're going to do the mastering. Now, of course, don't think, I got to outsource that. Just run it through a really awesome Avalon compressor or something like that. Make sure that it's like top notch, you know what I mean? So it's all like boom, boom, boom. It's all equal to the other tracks, equal to the other stuff. You want to make sure that the volume's low in one part of your video and it's high in the other part of the video. You know what I mean? Very important. All right, so anyway, split testing. This is something that everyone always asks me about. The idea behind this is rotate 4 or 5 or 6 videos that are all a little bit different. Run traffic at all those videos, and then, some really cool services, they also have heat maps. Heat maps kind of look like the way that Predator sees things in the movie Predator, right? It's like you see the heat, and it's funny, like you'll see on the video, like you see a little red, blur right there where everyone is clicking on it to stop the video. Next up, leadership. This has to do with, your employees hate you or they love you. Well, that's a question of how good of a leader you are, all right? So we want to work on the different methods and put yourself, again, the empathy card is very, very good. You need to know what they're feeling and what they're thinking. You got to put yourself in their shoes and learn about what, why, and how maybe you auditioned correctly. Next up, personal development. Personal development is very, very important in terms of connecting your personal life in with your business life, all right? For instance, the body and mind and soul, and what are you eating, and how do you feel inside. That might end up in the boardroom or whatnot, you know what I mean? You crap your pants in the boardroom because you didn't eat correctly or something like that. So it's very, very important that you work on, bettering yourself outside of work, all right? Like exercise. Next up, we're going to talk a little bit about general outsourcing, all right? You might need to hire someone really quick, all right? It's not like you're looking for a huge leadership position or something for your company. You might have to hire someone and then teach a manager, teach someone who works for you how to hire people, all right? That's like, hey, your personal assistant, are they going to be able to hire people as well as you? Probably not. Well, that's going to give you a challenge in how to teach the right person on how to hire and train. Next up, manufacturing, all right? You got an idea, you got an invention, or you might just want to box up a cool DVD set or something like that. Have you ever manufactured before? Well, you find a manufacturer, and then you're going to want to get a prototype. You get that prototype, baby, it's on. You get the camera, you go crazy, create the infomercial even before you manufactured it, all right? You get good results from that prototype, bam, then invest in manufacturing. That's right. Prototype might cost a lot of money, though, but might be a good investment. Next up, we're going to talk about consistent scheduling. You know how to schedule correctly? Be thoughtful about your scheduling, please, and estimate correctly when it comes to scheduling out things. Think about, hey, how long is it going to take you to do things? People who don't make money are basically really bad schedulers, and they're really bad at estimating how much time it's going to take them to do something. So get it together, all right? That's my best advice. Scheduling is very, very important. Next up, deal making. Deal making has to do with, hey, this person can do this for me, and you know what? I can do this for that person. And so connect, but present your deal before you arrange a time to speak. All right? Make sure that you're not like a bugging person. The person is not interested in what you have to say. Plenty of people may really try to do deals with me, and what they're telling me about is just really way off of what I need. So I think about that. Next up, broadcasting. All right, you're gonna broadcast your shit out to the masses. Okay, broadcasting can have to do with when you're sending out an email to your list, or when you're doing a YouTube live video, or when you are basically getting your word out. Broadcasting is basically your way of making the traffic happen. Okay, either for yourself or for your joint venture partners. So if you'd like to learn more about how to do some really good broadcasting, let me know. Thank you. Open rates are very important. All right, so anyway, eBay. eBay is a really great place to sell physical stuff, all right? And everyone knows how to use eBay. That's why I still to this day talk about how I was able to do very well with eBay back in the day. But you know what is funny? I sold websites on eBay before I found out about SitePoint and then FlipUp. So eBay can work for like getting rid of your clutter in your house, or you can actually sell domains and websites on there. It's very cool. Next up, affiliate recruitment. You got to know, this is another one that 8 hours or 12 hours, I could go on and on about this. Who is your target affiliate, right? And what rank are they? What are they, a heavyweight? Are they a lightweight, welterweight, etc.? Think of it like that. Also think about, hey, what are the products that are they promoting? Are those products like mine, right? You don't want to approach affiliates that promote products that are nothing like your product or are not in the niche of your product. Affiliate management, I'm getting tired. Anyway, affiliate management is like, you know what? Once you do have your affiliates and they have been successfully recruited, you're going to want to have some good affiliate management. You're not going to want to be like a one-hit wonder or something. Are you keeping your deadlines and are you keeping your commitments to that affiliate? Did you promise that you were going to do something for that affiliate? Well, you have to keep your promises or you are a bullshitter. Okay, affiliate management is very, very important. Don't annoy affiliates. Thank you. YouTube, all right? YouTube is like the classic viral video website you all know about. I don't know if that's the best explanation for it, but got millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of videos, views on YouTube myself, and also I've acquired YouTube videos. You can do that. You can either rent, buy, or barter YouTube videos. You can have a YouTube channel, be consistent, one channel for each niche, and that's the best advice, and be consistent, one video a week. Next up, ClickBank, JVZoo, marketplaces, all that type of stuff. These are retailers slash affiliate marketplaces. This is kind of like, they're kind of doing the arbitrage thing, where there's affiliates, vendors, and buyers. Okay, so you got those three different people going on there. You got people who create products, you got people who pimp products, then you've got people who purchase those products. So you've got those three different types of peeps using those websites. Learn what you're doing, learn who everyone is. Thank you. Next up, sales webinar performance. Do you know how to do a badass sales webinar? 30 slides, PowerPoint, know your product, know your sales tactics, make sure you cover all of the classic tactics, all right? Make sure that you got all your elements correct. If you need more information on elements, I'll let you know how to get that at the end of the video. You need to make sure that you got all the classic elements. Thank you. Next up, you got to talk a little bit about customer webinar performance. All right, customer webinar performance is for the purpose of your customers being excited and being happy. All right, a happy customer is a happy life because your customer has faith in you and they have purchased something from you, and now you're one-on-one if you unmute the customer, and there's other people in your class. Think of it like a class, cooking class, karate class, etc. Servicing, all right? Servicing is like, hey, you don't got a digital product or an ebook or something, you got an actual service. You got a production house, you got an SEO company, you got some type of service where you got people who work for you and they're performing a service for your clients, all right? It's also a little bit different, it's like, you know, customer versus client type thing. With servicing, they're usually clients, right? So performing a service, something that you can have a little bit more money in your upsell funnel, right? Remember, there is smaller profit margin and there's more moving parts with a service. Next up, merchant accounts. You know how to get yourself a merchant account and deal directly with Visa and MasterCard and American Express? Well, here's a little tip for you. Did you know that you're going to have to deal with American Express directly? Did you know that? Very, very funny like that. You know, MasterCard and Visa, the merchant account industry is like, you know what, there's the funniest thing. You go look up merchant accounts or something, and you type in, you know, you get a merchant account company, and then all they're doing is arbitrage. It's crazy. And then they're dealing with another company, they're dealing with another company, etc. We'll get into a lot of that more, but you should know how to handle and maintain your good rates and stuff like that. Customer service, all right? Customer service is, of course, very, very important for those really good refund and chargeback rates that you're keeping from having good customer service, promising only what you deliver, etc. And having really knowledgeable customer service, one of the most important things with customer service is turnaround time. Someone emails, think about it in minutes, not hours, all right? 2 minutes to reply. Money management, this has to do with the overall what's going on with your company, all right? Are you on top of your profit and loss reports? For instance, you know, if you're going to flip that company, you got to make sure your profit and loss reports make sense, all right? Because they're going to want to see your tax returns and your bank statements. They don't even care what, you know, JVZoo says or what, you know, I mean, this is if you're flipping something for 2 years or 3 years revenue. They're going to be looking at your tax returns, your P&Ls, and your bank statements. So make sure your money management makes sense and you know what you're doing. You're prioritizing, not spending stuff that don't have leakage and you don't have Things going on. All right, so next up, financing. This is like, you know what, if you're dealing with SBA loans or something like that, all right? Or if you're looking to, if you're looking to leverage, if you're looking to do margin, if you're looking to finance. And it also is very good for you to know in terms of a customer that doesn't have enough money to purchase what you're selling. You might want to know some financing options for that customer, some solutions. I saw somebody's webinar recently, got very, very higher conversion rates because he implemented some cool financing plans. Anyway, social media management. This is if your freaking reputation is going to shit. Do you know how to help your reputation? A lot of people ask me this. I had a friend who, I won't mention what he does, but he got into trouble, all right? And he's actually a musician type person. That's what he does. He deals with musical instruments. He got in trouble. And he asked me, he said, how do I clear this up? How do I clean this up? I said, dude, you can't clean that up. Jesus Christ. And so, because there were some pretty big, prominent magazines who did some articles on it. The way to do it is to drown all those magazines out. You know, you can't take shit off, you gotta add things on. Thank you. Do some parodies too. Anyway, paid advertising. This encompasses everything. It even encompasses CPA networks, all right? But basically when you think of paid advertising, what do you think of? You think of PPC, all right? Facebook ads, the bottom. Google, Neva, does Neva even exist anymore? Anyway, I use Facebook ads. I don't really even use AdWords anymore unless it's for YouTube, like video ads. CPA is really cool as well. We can get all into that. I've done over $1 million paid out through CPA. It's pretty significant. Thank you. And next we get into SEO, all right? SEO is search engine optimization. This has to do with, you know, hey, how's your website doing in search engines? Think of it like, hey, you've got you want to rank #1, that's where to go because the majority of people are going to click on #1. It's like a very high percentage, it's like 70 or 80% or something like that. And then #2, 20%, #3, 10%. Keywords are very important, get into that later. Brand management, all right? Brand management is a little bit of what I was talking about before. It ties in with SEO and everything. Like, you know what? Make sure that your brand is coming up good. You know, you got good reviews, etc. You know what I mean? Like you work out things with what's going on out in the search engines and on social media, and you'd be good to go. You know what I mean? So manage your brand. Make sure that you got good. Maybe do some interviews. Some other ideas are have a Facebook page, a fan page. Make sure that you're communicating effectively. Thank you. All right, so that was it, and I hope that you liked your lessons here. If you'd like any more information on any of these subjects, these are if I were to do a resume and I'm like, here's my skill sets. Those are my skill sets. So if you'd like to know any more about it. Learn how to be a better looking version of Jamie Lewis, you can email me at digibizpro support@gmail.com, or you can hit me up private message on Facebook. That's facebook.com/JamieLewisMoney. You can check out my website, domainerelite.com, or jamielewis.com, or thesingingguru.com, or if you're a musician or you're a rapper or a singer, check out beats365.com or megamusicmaker.com. And that's the best way I can go through everything like really quick. Elaborate everything, and I hope you dig it, and you're the bomb. Thank you. Bye.